let's have a quick introduction. So, mesh analysis, a method used to solve planar circuits for the currents by assigning a mesh loop and indirectly the voltages at any place in a closed path circuit. So I1 and I2 represents mesh loop. Next is supermesh. Supermesh occurs when a current source is contained between two essential meshes. So as you see, there are three mesh loop, and between the mesh loop 1 and mesh loop 3, there is a 7 ampere current source. So we can use that mesh loop 1, I1, and mesh loop I3 to be one mesh, which is the supermesh. So let's start solving the problem. So hello guys, this is our circuit problem. So problem number 7. Determine the power supplied by the 1 volt source in figure 4.73. So this is our figure. So this process or steps na akong himon first is assign mesh loop and direction of arrows in the current. Second is use KVL to get mesh equation and supermesh equation. Then lastly is use Cramer's rule to get I1, since I1 man ang gipangita. So notice sa figure kay gibutangan na nako siya mga arrows o mesh loop. So mao ni siya ang mesh loop 1, mesh loop 2, mesh loop 3. So notice na ang sa tunga sa atong duha ka mesh loop na siya current source. So which means na ang kaning naka-blue is our supermesh. So supermesh ni siya. Akong giuban ang duha ka mesh loop. So to solve the circuit problem, so gamitan ako siya og KVL. So recall Ohm's law. So needed ang Ohm's law para sa KVL. So voltage is equals to current times resistance, so V is equals to IR. And then lastly, ang power. Since power man ang gipangitan sa problem, so power is equals to voltage times current. So by using KVL at mesh 1, so KVL at mesh 1, so summation of all voltage is equals to 0. So 1 volt man ang unang giagian niya, sa negative terminal man siya una niagi, so negative 1 volt. Next is ang 4 ohms. Ang current na niagi sa 4 ohms is ang I1. So voltage is equals to IR, so 4 ohms times I1 plus 3 ohms. Notice sa 3 ohms na duha siya ka current ang niagi sa iya, which is ang current sa I1 o sa I2. But with respect to I1 man ta, so ang I1 ang atong positive. So I1 minus I2 plus 1 ohm. Pareha nagap man siya sa 1 ohm. Ang I1 ang atong positive, ang iyang counterpart na I3 ang negative. All equals to 0. So by first ato ni siyang ibalhin dire sa pikas para may mo siyang positive niya, ato siyang i-distribute. So 4I1 plus 3I1 minus 3I2 plus I1 minus I3 equals to 1 volt. So atong i-combine. So combining like terms, so naatay 8I1 minus 3I2 minus I3 equals to 1 volt. So mao ni atong first equation. So ang next nato buhaton is mag-KVL ta. So since supermesh man ni siya, so ang magagiagian na components is kaning na sa gawas sa triangle, which is ang 1 ohm, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, so gang 8 volts. So KVL at supermesh. mesh I2 and I3. So summation of all voltage is equal to 0. So mag-una ko sa 3 ohms. So 3 ohms. So with respect to I2 mata, so ang I2 ang positive. I2 minus I1. Yeah. Plus sa negative una man ni agi ang kuan, ang arrow, so negative 8 volts. Next is ang 2 ohms. Since I3 naman ang current na ni agi sa 2 ohms, so 2I3. Yeah, sa 1 ohms with respect to I3, so I3 atong positive minus I1. This all equals to 0. So ang una na to buhaton is atong ibalansa ni ang 8 volts sa pikas para may mo siyang positive. Ya aton is siyang iuban tanan ya i-distribute, then combine like terms pareha kagaina. So 3I2 minus 3I1 plus 2I3 plus I3 minus I1 equals to 8 volts. So by combining all the like terms, so negative 4I1 plus 3I2 plus 3I3 all equals to 8 volts. So mao ni atong equation 2. So we have two equations. So this is the equation 1, equation 2, but we still need 3 equations because we have 3 unknowns. So I1, I2, and I3 is unknown. So makuha na to ang last equation by using the dependent source. So equation at dependent source. So since 5I1 man ang kuan atong given, so 5I1, which ang equal niya is ang mga corresponding current source. So kung unsay pareha niya na direction sa arrow, which is ang iyang kapareha is I2, so ang I2 atong positive. Ang negative is pabali man siya sa current source, so mao ni atong negative. So I2 minus I3 atong ibalhin sa pikas ang I1 kay para this is all equals to 0 para equation siya. So negative 5I1 plus I2 minus I3 equals 0. So mao ni atong last equation. So at this part, akong gihimo og matrix form ang tulo ka equations kay para maka-use ko og Cramer's rule. Para makuha nako ang I1, dili na nako kuha ng I2 ug I3 kay I1 lang akong needed para makuha ang power. So by Cramer's rule, I1 will equals the denominator is ang determinant, which is ang tanan na values diri a. So 8, negative 4, negative 5, negative 3, 3, 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1. Ang sa numerator is ato lang bayloan ang atong first column, kani siya tanan, sa atong left side sa equation, kani sila tanan ato siyang ato ni siyang alisdan, atong replacean og kani. So 1, 8, 0, negative 3, 3, 1, negative 1, 3, negative 1. So in order na makasolve ta ani, aton ning gamitan og basket method, which is kani siya multiply nimo tanan, which is mag-equal ni siya og negative 24. So next atong i-multiply ang negative 4, 1 og negative 1, which is equal to positive 4. Ang 3, negative 3, o negative 5. So which is equals to plus 45 minus sa iyang counterpart baliktad na puta. So negative 1 times 3 times negative 5, which is equals to 15. Next is negative 3 negative 4 times negative 1, which is negative 12. Lastly is 1 times 3 times 8, which is 24. Same raga po ng process sa taas. 1 times 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3. So next is 8 times 1 times negative 1, which is negative 8. Next is 3 times negative 3 times 0, which is 0, minus ang iyang kabaliktad, which is negative 1 times 3 times 0, which is 0, plus negative 3 times 8 times negative 1, which is 24. Lastly is kanit 1 times 3 times 1, which is 3, so plus 3. So input nato siya tanan sa calculator. So negative 3 minus 8 plus 0 minus 0 plus 24 plus 3 divided by negative 24 plus 4 plus 45 minus 15 minus 12 plus 24. So ang atong current na I1 is 19 amperes. So masolve na nato ang power sa 1 volt. So power supplied 1 volt is equals to voltage times current na I1. Voltage sa atong source, which is 1 volt. Yang atong current sa I1, which is 19 amperes. So ang ato dayon power supplied is 19 watts. So mao ni atong final answer, 19 watts. So this is my simulation in the problem number 7. I1 in the simulation, I1 is 18.999 amperes. So that's it for today's video. So I hope you learned something, and thank you for watching.